Welcome back to the channel. I know the channel name is the Dating Dad. I know there's not much dating going on. Not many stories I have in regards to that. So I don't know. The platform's kind of changed a little bit. I'm gonna keep the name. Eventually I'll probably get back on that wagon after get through this medical issue, medical stuff. Been traveling this week. I've had a couple things come to my mind that I wanted to talk about, at least get off my chest. It's kind of what this is used for. Thought I would do it. It's a little late tonight, but out here in the dirty garage, that I'd turn the camera on, um, and shoot the shit with everybody, whoever eventually watches this. Um, Pretty amped up tonight. I've been doing the iRacing. I started a channel with that. I've been recording my races and putting them on YouTube and trying to do some shorts. And it's just, man, it takes a lot of time. Having a 9 to 5 and other responsibilities, and it's not being your full time gig to really get in and edit. And I'm not the most computer literate person when it comes to creativeness, when it you know technology and cropping and editing and thumbnails. I do the best I can. I take a little effort. It takes me a little longer. So, I did a race tonight, got second, turned out well. Did a video overlay of it as well, and I have a screenshot saved to create a thumbnail, but I haven't got to that point yet to do the thumbnail. Maybe tomorrow, and then I'll post it, and then I got a couple shorts or reels I want to do from an idea standpoint. But yeah, that's going well. Again, I don't want to really cross the platforms here. This is just kind of my venting per se. Man, the biggest thing I wanted to talk about is just from traveling. It really sticks out to me how much the United States in general has. I feel like maybe fallen off. Um, from a people, culture, landscape perspective. There's some good things, some great areas, right? Don't get me wrong, but things aren't the same, and I don't expect them to be the same as when I was a kid. I thought they would be better, but I think they've gotten worse, right? It just everything feels more dirty. People are less kind anywhere you go. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe kind's not the right word. Maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe it's my mindset. If I'm just everywhere I go, I got my guard up a little bit, right? Maybe that's noticeable for certain aspects if I'm meeting an attractive person. But you go to the local gas station, you don't ever feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable, right? And I'm a 5'10", 200-pound guy, could bench press 315 pounds, right? So it's not like I feel physically uncomfortable, but I just feel dirty, and the people there are dirty or nasty, I guess, overweight, obese, lethargic, I guess is a good deform. I wouldn't say they're retarded, but just the general population just seems to have gone downhill, right? And I don't know if it's I don't know, so social media, your smartphone, what's dumbing society down, tempers flare, rudeness. I don't know what it is. It's just everywhere I go, I feel on edge, right? I was at, again, just being perspective outside the gas station, but going to a restaurant, sitting at the bar, I'm not going to get a table by myself, traveling alone, but, you know, you just see the people that are at the bar. It's like they're locals, alcoholics. They're just guys that and women that aren't the greatest to people. I guess you would think. Maybe it's just me being judgmental, but I don't feel like it was like that when I was younger or even 10 years ago, But I don't drink anymore. This is non-alcoholic beverage, right? Zero. Um, but it's just you could just for being sober, you can really see some of the problems alcohol can bring upon. I think this is a good thing. So there's a social aspect to it, but people can take it too far and be dependent on it, right? Just like anything else. You know, says the guy that's smoking a cigar. But yeah, just being out and about and noticing that and interacting with people, it's just interesting, And even with my job and even with manufacturing and things like that, I just always had a picture of an idea of things being more professional and flowed better and understood. And I just feel like everybody is just shooting from the hip and fake it till you make it. Even with the business that I'm in sometimes, right? And even what I do sometimes. But I don't want to digress, but it's just people seem different. Um, traveling everywhere I go, there's more trash, there's more dirt, there's more grime. It doesn't look everything stuff doesn't look well upkept. And I get granted it's winter time, it can change, right? But it's just I don't know if people care anymore, and that's strange to me. I care, right? I get home and I see things I need to do in my house and make it look good. I go to the gym. Try to take care of myself, eat well. Um, and it's just the general population doesn't do that. And I don't feel like it was like that when I was a kid. I go into Walmart. I never dread going to Walmart when I was younger. Or even maybe 10 years ago. Now it's like, oh, goddamn, I gotta go to Walmart. I gotta go to the grocery. I gotta go out freaking public and deal with these people, right? I gotta drive on the same road as that dude. It's like, come on, it's just I don't know. Maybe it's probably just me. But noticing things, gotta be aware. I've had conversations with some people, and everybody seems nice sometimes. But it just something just feels off. Feels like the timeline is off. I don't know what it is, but um, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about that today, and it's just and it rolls back to like no, how do you make it better? I don't know if it's going to get better. I think it's just going to get worse, right? I'm going to lose the light on this cigar. It's going to take me off, but it's all right. I can relight it later. It's I don't know if it's going to get better. AI may make things better, probably make things worse. It's just a different time. I don't know. You gotta evolve. You gotta adapt. I think there's opportunities there for people that are have some conscious thought to better themselves. That's what I'm trying to do. As much as I can. Um, and then it always rolls back up to the dating thing too. Maybe not so much with me right now, with me putting it on pause, but the invisibility factor of that. No wonder a lot of people are lonely and invisible. Some people are. Maybe I am more because I'm not. You know, I'm more conscious of myself. Um, I hold myself to certain expectation, and when that doesn't seem like it's being met by myself or being recognized, it's being ignored. It does rub me the wrong way because it's just like, why would you try? Everybody else is just doing the bare minimum, getting by just fine. So why should I put in the extra effort? I think a lot of people feel like that, And if I feel like that in a position that I am, imagine what your local, you know, postal make. Well, they probably make more money than I do. It's surprising how much money some positions make. I say, oh, the trash guy. Hell, the trash guy makes pretty damn good money. I wish I got paid overtime. Being salary. But the guys that keep the lights on. Even them having a good job, you don't have that status factor with it to really create any attention, unless you're doing some kind of social media with it, where you're doing videos or reels or something and posting it, right? That's kind of the next frontier, really. And it's part that already passed, right? It's like the Bitcoin, all that stuff is, you got to get on something at the beginning, and it's kind of in the middle towards the end. What else is going to come? That's going to be the next big thing, right? Has to be something with AI. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just frustrating. It's funny to sit back and articulate and think about, the public and people living their complex of lives just like you are. But sometimes I just don't think the lights are all on a lot of people, and it makes me worried. It makes me worried for the future. And then, of course, just, you don't want to go and you don't want to end up importing the third world and be in the third world, and you don't know how to maintain your city streets, and you don't know how to pick up trash, mow your yard, you know, all that stuff, right? And it happens. And, I don't mind, paying for those services, as long as I know my money's going towards those services and not getting allocated to something else, right? So that's always that's always important. So I don't know. I think the next video I want to do, I probably talk a little bit more about some other situations that I've been in here lately. But it's slow going. I got to do a better job myself of writing these things down and putting some notes to them just to have, because every time I feel like I sit down in front of the camera and turn it on, got a good idea, I forget what I'm going to talk about, or I don't articulate it very far. But, this is a point for me. What are the things that are affecting my life? Probably affecting a lot of people's life, right? Money, your career, your job, right? Your worth, your self worth, your health, right? Those are things people can relate to that I'm going through, right? Being a single parent and raising your daughter or son through these difficult, interesting times. Granted, I think every times have difficult times, or where they say it's difficult, and it's first world problems right now, really. It's not third world problems. It's not, I'm not, most people I think are doing okay with that aspect. But yeah, I don't know. So then, the next time I'll probably have a couple other more clear pointed discussions, instead of just going on a retarded rant like I do. Um, I don't know. There's some frustration in it with everything. Obviously, I'm to the point of not really caring a whole lot on certain aspects, and of course caring fully in other aspects. And I think your health standpoint keeps you there, and puts some things into perspective, when you have that into, um, come forth. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm just tired, but I'll probably post this and just forget about it. And maybe there's some comments, likes, and some subscribers. So they're very, very minimal of that. But I think I have a better opportunity of, growing the iRacing channel than this channel. But I'm not going to quit it. Um, I think eventually I'll have some good topics and things to discuss about. But I don't want to also keep regurgitating the same things either. So until next time, I guess, let me get my thing here and turn this thing off. I'll see you guys later.